All right, guys, November 18th, excited. I'm passionate. I am full of energy today. And I got 6 hours of sleep last night. So your boy's feeling himself today. So I operate really well on 5 or 6 hours. The night before, I only got 4 hours. So I'm feeling good. I got a full 6 hours last night. But let's do this, you guys. In true fast form, I'm going to have somebody take us out on the field. And there's a reason why I do this. I do this, A, because it's probably uncomfortable for you to do. But B, it's important that I hear how you would hype somebody up, how you bring them out on the field, what you would do, how you would engage. So I'm actually going to turn it over to Maria Dominguez. It was great to spend some time with you yesterday. Hopefully your event went well last night. So bring the team out on the field, and then I have a couple of questions for you as well. So without further ado, Maria Dominguez, let's hear from you. Go ahead and hit us.
Thank you so much, Elias. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. So I woke up this morning early, and so I was kind of like meditating on what if Elias called on me, what was I gonna say? And you know, in light of the fact that we just went to the Wakanda Black Carpet event at Team Fast headquarters, saw the movie. And I don't know if any of you follow me on IG, but one of the things that Elias mentioned about Wakanda and why it was important to Feed Gentry. Now, Feed Gentry is the founder of Black EXP Network. So it's fire. But anyway, so this is what he said. I had to write it down just in case. He said that according to Fee, am I correct, Elias? It was Fee.
Yeah, I was in passing. She's like, can you be the MC for this meeting? I was like, yeah, I need to know something though. What does Wakanda mean to you? Was the premise of the conversation.
And for me, it touched my core. So she said that Wakanda is rooted in education. Wakanda is rooted in influence. And Wakanda is rooted in power. Wakanda is all about community. And I was like, that's Team Fast, right? And then I started thinking about the African proverb, and it says, if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go further, you go with together, community. So I just want to leave you with the fact that we are getting ready to hit into Thanksgiving week. We know it's busy. We know it's crazy. We know you're going to be meeting up with some crazy family members and all that other fun jazz. But just realize it is all about community. And for those of you that are out there that are alone, that are feeling some kind of way about your business, about life, please, please, please lean into your brothers and sisters of Team Fast. We are one big community. We can go so much further together, but that requires that you to reach out, lean on, and just press into us. We love you. God bless you. And you know what? Go make an amazing, fabulous Thanksgiving week.
Wow, I love that. I love that. And sending you light, love, and energy. It was really powerful always having you in the room and having your contributions along with everyone else's contributions. So let's talk a little bit about yesterday. And this is kind of give the people that are coming today a precursor. So that way you guys kind of know what's on the horizon for today. So Maria, walk me through some of your takeaways from yesterday. What did it mean to you? How are you thinking about your business? What sparked within you? Like, I just want to have some of your takeaways from yesterday's session. If you would, please share.
So, of course, this was coming off of the night prior. So I was feeling very motivated because I realized that there are people that look like me that are in this business. And when I went to the business planning clinic yesterday, it was just really reconfirming my purpose. And at the end of the day, we need to know our numbers. So there's a lot of people that'll be like, I want to make X amount of dollars, but we don't even know what that means. Like, we have this pipe dream about, we want to make $1 million, but what does that take on a day-to-day? Well, actually, what does it take on a quarterly basis? Let's just break it down to that. And then go back to what are the activities that we need to do every day? And for me, yesterday just brought it all back to the basics and also my purpose, right? We could, again, want to sell real estate to make a lot of money, but at the end of the day, money is fleeting. Money can come and go and what have you, but what does it mean to you? Like, I love your story. Like, for, you know, you had people in the room crying about Why? Yes, it's for your family. Yes, that's important, but it's also about not to return to that point in your life where you're like, I don't want to go back there. And so I think a lot of times we need to figure out almost where that pain is, and that we don't want to return there, because we can get very comfortable. You know what I mean? I mean, real estate in itself has its ups and downs, but I feel like sometimes when it's down, we forget the pain that brought us here in the first place. And so for me, I pulled out my tracker this morning and I'm like, I have to go back to it. I have to kind of, you know, mess with it and figure it out and sit with it. And then, as a matter of fact, Chris and I talked last night about, there's a big white area in the Sacramento office. And so I'm going to encourage my Sacramento brothers and sisters that for those of you that were at the business planning clinic, we need to put all of those goals, quarterly goals, annual goals, and we're going to put it on the vision board or the intention board or the whatever board, because we need to keep it in front of us every single day.
I love it. You know what? And I'm so happy you said this, because here's the thing, you guys, and we won't spend the whole entire session on this, but it's important that we talk about this. This here that we're going to go over, that we went in Southern California, we did it yesterday in Sacramento, we're going to go full tilt again today. This is something that I want you guys to not only understand, but it's something that I want you to see, and it's something that I want you to review weekly. I don't want us to come together and spend all this time and take copious amounts of notes and write and feel and cast, and then this goes somewhere where you cannot see it and you're not reviewing it. So what we're going to do, and I'm going to help everyone do this, is you guys are going to be able to do a level 10 meeting. A level 10 meeting is going to exist every single week in your environment. If you want to host it, cool. I'll give you the template. I'll share with you how to flow with that meeting. What that means, it's going to be a review of your rocks, review of your week, review of your quarter, review of your month. So you guys understand exactly where you are, what you need to do, and understand, am I actually on pace? Am I slouching? Am I in a slump? Do I need to do something better? Am I ahead? Whatever that is, this needs to be living and breathing and constant. So level 10 meetings, and I'm so glad that you said that, Maria. I'm so glad you talked to Chris about this. I'm going to share with you guys after we're done with business planning. That's actually the next part of it, is how do we do level 10 meetings to make sure that we're gauging, tracking, and monitoring this as we grow, and that this is not something that was done in November and we don't see it again. So love it. Maria, thank you for your insights. Thank you for your contribution. Cortez, I want to hear from you, big dog. I want to hear from you just a couple high-level takeaways from our session yesterday.
Man, so many takeaways, but high-level takeaways. You walked away from it knowing what you're going to do. Knowing what numbers you need to meet and how you're going to do it. I actually went over it again, like right after that. I had lunch with another realtor and my son, and we went over it again. And my core values, I even adjusted those, the ones I wrote during the day, just thinking about it. So like you said, you will walk away from that meeting knowing what you're going to do and how you're going to implement it. So you just got to listen, take notes, and just really just soak it all in. It was super dope. I'm starting my year like right now. I'm not waiting to the new year. We're going now. So
that's
yeah,
right,
it was very interesting. I called in to work to come, so I was very thankful that I went. It was definitely worth it.
I love it. I love it, big dog. And so thank you for being there. Thank you for your contributions. And here's the thing too, and I want you guys to think about this, and this is not just about business planning. I had a conversation with Cynthia, and hi, Cynthia, love you. I had a conversation with Cynthia a couple months back, and she's like, my GCI is going to be $250,000 because I want to make $250,000. I'm like, well, wait a minute, that's wrong, because if your GCI is what you if your income goal is 250, your GCI number is a vastly different number. So what we're going to do today, and what we're going to continue to do, is make sure that you understand, and Cynthia's clear now. She has a full head of direction. She knows where she's going. But I want you guys to be very, very clear and understand what all of your metrics are. If you want to make a certain amount, you have to understand your revenue, then you have to understand your profit margin, then you have to understand your budget, then you have to understand your net operating income. There's a lot of variables. And check this out. We were in the room yesterday, 70 people, and I saw this. And people were wanting to not, like, okay, can we move past that part? No, 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 Kimosabi. We're going to stay there. Cam, do you need to get let in? Sorry. Do you need to get let in or are you good?
No, I'm waiting. There's someone here to fix the light bulb and I need to let him in.
Okay, all right, cool.
That's
cool.
I'm just chilling outside.
All right, cool. So no, Kimosabi, you need to understand your business. You need to understand your metrics. You need to understand what the heck should I be doing today, tomorrow, by the end of the week, by the end of the month, by the end of the quarter, by the end of Q2. Like Kenny and I, Molly and Karina, us four sat in a room, locked in a room. I got up to pee maybe twice. Anyways, locked in a room for 4 hours on 2 pages, writing out what our year will look like for you guys, right? So we're understanding what we're trying to achieve. You know what else we did? We reshaped some of our core values. We reshaped some of them because I went around the room. I'm like, are you connected with that? Are you connected with that? Are you connected with that? Well, no, then let's fucking kill that. What's one that we can replace? Give you an idea, when we do this practice today, we replace one of our core values with be social. We put be social as one of our core values. Why do we say that? Look around our environment. Look how much content you guys are creating. Look how many people are out in their community creating and doing things and building. So first and foremost, you guys, we're going to get very crystal clear today. I'm excited. You can feel that. I'm just so passionate about today. But I want you guys, no matter what, whether it's business planning, after business planning, I want you guys to make sure that you understand your goals. If you have a GCI target, you need to understand how much volume you need to sell in order to hit that GCI target. And then I want you to be able to back out of that. Well, based on the amount of volume that I want to sell, how many units do I need to do? Well, shit, you divide that by your average sales price, that will give you your units. Well, how many conversations should I be having throughout the year? We came up with a number, their number was 7,200 conversations that they needed to have in the year in order to hit their metrics, right? And I saw Kevin Magna's reaction there. Well, when we broke it down, the number was in single digits, what she needed to actually do daily. And then she was like, oh, okay, I can do that. I can send 2,500 one-on-one videos, one-to-one videos every single year to people that I know. I can do that. Because when we narrowed it down to what she needed to do daily, it was clear. It was clear. And I think what this time of the year needs to be is a clear path. You need to have clarity. You need to have understanding of where you're going and what's going to happen. Fuck doing anything haphazard in this business. You guys need to be super clear as to the path ahead, where you're going, and who you are going to become and act as that person right now. So that's my sentiment. That's what I want to share with you guys. Really quick, I want to hear from one other person that was in the room yesterday, and I am going to go over to Sophia, our community advocate, our builder. Let me hear from you, Sophia. Tell me what some of your takeaways were, because when I was at your age, I was not sitting in those types of rooms talking about my business plan. So, unless my business plan included whiskey and smoking cigarettes, but let's hear from you, Sophia.
Yeah. So, the whole workshop, it was about manifestation. And one of the things that I like the most is that we started with core values. That's something that is so important to me, because without my core values, I wouldn't have gotten into real estate. Like, I'm not the type of person to do things just for financial benefit or just for selfish reasons. So that, my purpose guided my whole entire path and reason why I entered into real estate. That's one of my favorite things about the entire workshop, because it's always something that's going to be there that you could go back to when things get difficult. So I really appreciated that. Manifestation is something I really believe in, and that whole thing was just that, something we could envision, something we could reflect on, and it's just great. And not to mention the math. The math is so relevant, because it really gives you a plan. Like other people were saying, it gives you a tangible plan, and that's super important. And I know that some people were sharing the math was kind of confusing to them, but if any of you guys near SAC need help, I'm happy to help you with the math, because I understood it and it's really helpful. I know how many conversations I need to have. I know I need to break out of my shell. I know I need to stop relying on other people.
Sophia,
And that's kind of where I'm at with it.
you're breaking up a little bit, but the message is clear. Can you guys hear me? Because
I think
can you
it's
guys hear me? Because
breaking.
I think I'm getting a little bit of a delay.
Yeah, I
it
think
me?
it's you.
Okay. How about now?
It's a little bit better, but a little choppy.
Okay. So I have a question, and since Sophia, sorry to break you cut you off. It was just choppy. Just tell me, Cynthia, when it gets too choppy. But I have a question. And I have a question for all the people that are out there doing community events. You're doing events within your office, whatever you're doing. Cynthia, you're doing an event tomorrow. You guys are now walking into an era where public speaking is an important part of your career, right? Cynthia, you're going to have to do some type of intro tomorrow. You're going to maybe moderate a little bit of that. We're encouraging people to get out in their community, host events. But I was having a conversation with my coach yesterday. And are you and what are you doing to practice how to own the room? What I mean by that, if you're throwing a community event, like what do you actually do? What's the preparation before the event starts? If you guys don't know, I have a process. And you guys may see it, you may have recognized it, may have realized it, but it's the same every time. So I want to ask you guys, what are some things that you're doing right now to own the room when you're hosting these events, when you're going to events, when you are going to moderate an event? Like, what are you doing to prep to make sure that you show up as the most confident self? I had a conversation with an agent the other day. She did an event. She had a good amount of people there. As soon as they handed her the mic, unfortunately, she froze. She froze. She couldn't even get her words out, but it's okay because she's going to do another one. She'll do it even better. So I think there's some good information here for us to share. So I want to hear from you, Cynthia. You have a presence. You have an ability to connect with the masses. How do you walk into a room and what's your thoughts? What's the pattern for you to own that space? Let's hear from you.
It starts in the beginning. So every morning I wake up and I journal and I do affirmations. And I think that it's the affirmations that get me into that peak state. And this is so silly because you've seen me do this, Elias. Like before I go onto any stage or before I go to a listing appointment, before I walk into a buyer consultation, I put on Journey, Don't Stop Believing, the song, and I belt it out. I literally will like scream this song and get myself like amped up so that when I do go on stage, it's this like really powerful energy about me. And then I know what I'm prepared. I know what I'm going to say. I know how I'm going to say it, but I also leave room for mistakes and errors. I know I'm going to mess up. It's human, right? So that's what I do.
So let me ask you, is there any preparation with how you introduce yourself to people, what you're doing ahead of time? And then another question, how do you show up confidently on camera? So there's a two-parter there.
Okay.
Right? Because since here's what we don't teach and train. We're creating content rooms. We have you guys going in and creating content. We have lights, we have Patrick, we have the DIY studio, but are we actually sharing with you guys how to show up confidently on camera, right? So the first question is, what do you do with the people? How do you prep? How do you like use all that to make sure that you own the room when the curtain opens up? And then second part of the question is, how do you show up confidently on camera? Because I believe you do.
So the camera piece is, I hate it. I hate being on camera. I genuinely don't like it, but I know that for my business to grow, whether it's getting leads, whether it's having agent to agent attraction, agent to agent referrals, I know that I have to show up on camera. And for me, it's harder to be broke than to show up on camera. I don't want to be broke again. I hate being broke. It really hurts. So I just do it. And the more you do it, the more you get comfortable with it. So I do the scale, you know, would I rather be broke or would I rather go on camera? Going on camera is hard, but the longer you do it, the more you do it, it becomes so much easier now, to the point where I'm like being goofy and silly with it and just being myself authentically.
I love it.
And then what was the first question,
Like
Elias?
when you go to an event, maybe tomorrow's event,
Yeah.
like what do you do ahead of time with the people in the room to make sure that like you're owning the room? What do you do with all the people that are there?
So it's so much about the mindset, and I know I'm going to just keep drilling into that. So when I walk into that room, I know that people are not there to see me. People are there for the panel, but I'm the one that is moderating and facilitating it. So I have to show up and be my best. So that means that tonight I get a good night's sleep. I have a good dinner. There's no alcohol, no sugar. My pot consumption is going to go way down. Like, it starts the night before, so that in the morning I can show up and just be like, aha, hello, good morning, and just feel 100%. And then my speakers, they've already got the questions in hand. My husband, he's going to be taking photos. He's got his shot list. Everything is prepared and organized. And again, I'm going to tell them, I know that we're going to make mistakes along the way. It's okay. This isn't meant to be perfect. It's our first time doing this. Let's just roll with it and see how it goes.
I absolutely love this. I absolutely love this. One follow-up question for you, Cynthia. What's your take on scripting for video content versus writing it out, practicing, rehearsing, and not using a script? Because here's what I'm seeing, you guys, and I love you, but I'm seeing a lot of the same video. And I don't want to get trapped into that, you guys, because I'm seeing we provided you the scripts. Well, we should have said only 3 people use that script, and then it's cut off and we kill that script. And then we write a new one. Because what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a lot of the same things. Here's what I've seen multiple times. You know how to become a millionaire in a recession. Okay. I've seen that video, and I'm not just saying within our environment, I'm saying it all kinds of different people. So Cynthia, what's your take on scripting versus writing something out and flowing and making it natural?
So I can't read a script and be on video. It's really, really hard for me to do. So I just do bullet points of, I want to make sure I hit on this, this, and this, and then I just let it flow. And I try really hard to do the one shot and done. Because if I keep going back again and again and again, and I'm like, fuck, I can't get it right. Like, I just try to get it done, one shot and done. All the Mighty Network videos, one shot and done. I did not re-record anything. Did those videos go longer? Yes, but they had the meat that they needed in there. And then a lot of the videos, I love a lot of the videos that I've been seeing. I take the like the meat and potatoes of it, and I just completely dissect it and then make my own dish out of it.
Yeah. For sure, for sure. I personally, for me, you guys, I can't read something and I can't put it on the teleprompter. I feel like it takes me away from that natural engagement. So if I have a point that I want to make, I'll write that down, and then I'll say it over and over and over again to where I can look at the camera and not look at anything and get the whole entire message out. So I appreciate you sharing that. Let's go to Aaron Grace down in Southern California. Aaron Grace, let's talk about owning the room. Let's talk about throwing an event. You guys do a really good job in the way that the office is set up, the way that you're greeting, the way that you start. So kind of tell us your process for owning a room.
Good morning, everyone. So for us, we like to kind of take turns in terms of who's welcoming, who's introducing, who's reading a bio, but we always start with heavy marketing. And once the event is here, we just make sure that we're ready a half an hour to 45 minutes before event start time, because people start to roll in. We're always available to welcome everybody, introduce people to each other. So we like to connect people as well. And just, you know, we present on time. We're very timely. I think I'm probably the one that's always like, let's stay on time the most, because I want to respect people's time. And so if our event is an hour, you know, we want to make sure that people get out of there, but we do our best to kind of go over who's presenting, because we're not always presenting. We always have somebody that brings added value. And I think that's the key. Like, I had a conversation with someone else the other day that it's not always us speaking. It's rarely us speaking. We're doing introductions, we're meeting people, but we're presenting someone that's, you know, our county assessor down here. He's been in our office twice. We have different people from like the Fannie Mae group, the woman who runs the West Coast of Fannie Mae, like we have her come into our office. So we just bring high quality people. But I think the key is the marketing and doing the marketing in advance to get the bodies there. And for us, we do it specifically to agent attract. Like we have these events, yes, for our agents that are already with EXP, but we do it to attract other agents. So we always ask our agents to invite 1 or 2 other agents that probably are not with us, but kind of are part of our vibe and our tribe, right? So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, really good. I love it. And let me ask you the second layer of this question. How do you show up confidently on camera? Is there something that you do? Is there a time of day? Is there a frame of mind? Like, how do you prep yourself to confidently show up on camera?
So for myself, I'm going to go back to Cynthia real quick. She said it perfectly when she said that do it the first time, try to get it as best as you can, because the minute you start doing a third, a fourth, a fifth time, forget it. It'll take you 20 minutes to do what you thought was going to take you 5 minutes. But I also do bullet points because I can tell when people read the prompters and I'm like, I can see it, like it just doesn't feel natural. So I do the same thing as Cynthia. Like I give myself 3 bullet points, and Andrea taught me this in my office. She says, come up with 3 points, focus on just those 3 points, and that's it, be out of there. And so in terms of like being prepared, I would say it's putting your points together. Don't try to compile too much information. And I do share that with other agents. Like they want to go through a whole solution, a whole situation. And I say, don't do that. Break it up in little segments so you have more content.
I love it. I love it. You guys, I was inspired by Justin the other day, and he, you know, the tattooed realtor, and like everything he had to say, what he represented, his uniqueness, and the way that he pushes the edge. And he said a couple things. I'm like, cool. And then I was in a recruiting meeting the other day, and this lady said, the reason I like you guys and I'm attracted to you guys is because you guys let your freak flag fly. I'm like, shit, I'm putting that in a video. And I put it in a video and it got tons of traction, like tons, right? And all I did was keep 3 bullet points of what I wanted to say. But here's the point, you guys. Whenever you guys are going to do a community event, when you're going to go to NAREP, when you're going to speak anywhere, if you're going to host a panel, if you're doing an event, and I don't know if you guys were at my Keep It Moving Mixer. If you guys were at the Keep It Moving Mixer, you had the fortunate opportunity to meet my mom. So my mom, later on in the evening, she's like, son, there wasn't a person in that room that didn't know my name and that I didn't look in the eyes and shake their hand. Has anybody ever been in an event with me? Has anybody ever seen me do this? Right? There's a process. There's a reason why I do this, because no matter how much I'll be on stage, no matter how many times I'm in front of a group, I still get nervous. And so what it allows me to do is I work the room, I shake everyone's hand, how you doing? I give hugs, what's up? I get that energy from them, and I get that energy and that fills me up. And maybe I was just having a side conversation that Naya said something, and guess what? I'm gonna organically use that in my flow. So when you guys are doing these events, I think that you need to be conscious of, now you're a public speaker, right? So as much as we practice on dialogue, as much as we practice on our buyer's presentation, our listing presentation, our phone calls, rebuttals, all these things that are important and imperative to your success, well, there's another element of this. And it comes down to body language, physiology, preparation, right? Working the room, owning the room. If you don't want to memorize a whole entire speech, I've tried that before. I can't do it. Memorize your first 3 minutes. Know how you're going to open up the room, what you're going to say, how you're going to captivate them. Have them hanging on to at least the first bit. It's like a comedian. You got to do something to get people on your side. So when you're throwing these events, work the room, talk to people, be the mayor, right? Be the mayor. Don't be the person that's in the sidelines. If you want to own the room, you have to work the room. Your body language when you're in front of people is super, super important. There's conscious things that I do every single time I'm in front of you guys to make sure that I exude some level of confidence in regards to your videos. You guys, I don't know what that prep looks like for you. It might be the journey song. It might be incantations. It might be affirmations, whatever that is. But you need to show up as somebody that's 100% confident about what you're saying and what you're about to talk about, right? If you have a point, if you have a cause, if you have a mission, if you have something that's funny, show up as that person, right? Confidence, shoulders back. I'm looking at the camera, right? There's things that you have to do that are imperative to you owning the room. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I was thinking about our team meeting the other day. We had 9 of you raise your hand about community contributions. I'm throwing an event. I'm doing something in Danville. I'm doing something in Tahoe, right? So if you're doing all these events, I want to make sure that you're capitalizing on them. I want to make sure that you're doing your very best. I want to make sure that you're conscious of it. There's a book. I forgot who I told you was going to buy the book for, but I have it at my house. I forgot who it was. If it was one of you, please let me know. But there's a book, The Exceptional Presenter. Has anybody dove into that book yet? Does anybody own that book? That book, if you're looking at growing your presence when you're in front of other people, I highly recommend getting that book. That book is a game changer. Kuhn, have you started reading it? Did you finish that book? Kuhn, you there? All right, so.
No, not yet. I'm gonna start soon though.
Okay, cool. And then somebody said, I just got it. You guys, it's a game changer book. But Ernesto, would love to hear from you, big dog. For you, how do you show up confidently at events? How do you show up confidently in rooms? You're going to events, you're meeting people, you're in masterminds, you're in these groups. So how are you showing up confidently? How are you owning that space? And for you, what are some things that you do to make you appear and feel more confident when you're in front of the camera? Let's hear from you, Ernesto.
Yeah, a couple things come to mind. First of all, now people say, oh, well, I don't think I'm amazing at it. I'm not going to say that I'm amazing at it, but I've greatly improved at my public speaking, and I can relate to getting stuck. I'll never forget, I was awarded an award when I worked for Verizon, and like one of the highest people in the company called me up on stage, and my mouth literally felt like it had like glue in it. Like my whole throat dried up, and I was embarrassed. It was like the moment for me when I was like, this is not okay. Like, I am very capable of speaking in front of an audience. And that was, for me, the day that I decided, like, I have to get better at this. So I think a couple things that come to mind, just kind of freestyling it. It's just like anything that you commit to wanting to get better at. That was one of the things that I decided I wanted to get better at. I went to a Tony Robbins event once, and one of the things that he told me, we talk about the 2mm thing. And I think, Elias, you mentioned it recently on a call, where like with the golf club, right? If you hit the ball 2mm off it, the ball's going to go in a completely different direction. Conversely, one of the things that he told me, or that he talked about on stage, is like when you're speaking, like up your posture like 2mm and get 2mm closer to the microphone, and just pay attention to how different you feel when you're in front of a mic. So second thing that comes to mind is I remind myself that I'm talking to somebody. Even when I'm making a video, I think about, who is this video for? What do I want them to take away from the video? So I feel less like, oh, I'm talking into this camera and I don't know who's going to watch it. And it's more like, hey, there is a person that I'm actually addressing. And it's like I'm having a conversation with them. And for me, that feels very, very different. As far as networking goes, yeah, I go to a lot of networking events. I love to network. I love to meet other people. And for me, the secret is to learn something about another person in the room, to see how I can add value to their life. It sounds really, really cheesy, but like that's kind of my reputation and that's my thing. So I'm in the Concord Chamber of Commerce. I'm going to be at NAREP today. I'm in different groups. And yeah, and for me, what has worked is, a lot of people are like, well, how do I have a conversation with somebody that I don't know? It's very easy. Hey, I'm Ernesto. What's your name? Good to meet you. Where you're from? Awesome. What are you here for? What are you about? And it always boils down to, like, I'm asking questions to see what value I can add to this person. So the biggest thing though is to decide, just like anything, like once you decide, like, this is something that I want to get better at, it's a muscle, just like anything else. And the more that you flex it, you absolutely will get better.
I love it. So let me ask you, and I'll come to you in a second, Aaron. Let me ask you a question. When I think about you and our interaction, and we've spent a lot of time together, and I've heard your voice quite a bit. At what stage in your life, or is this something that has always been with you? At what stage in your life were you able to articulate the way that you articulate now? And it's something I'm conscious of because I spend a lot of time on it. I focus on it. I've been trained on it. but that's something that if you spend any time with Ernesto, he has a way of articulating a message that you can attach to. When did this develop? How did that develop? Or is that an innate ability?
So I think I've always been pretty good at the English language. Like I was always in like AP English classes, and I wrote pretty well. Like I had good command of English as a language and vocabulary and things like that. Like I find literature to be really fascinating, but I was really bad at public speaking. Like you put me in front of a group and I would get really nervous. I used to stutter a lot too. I used to stutter a lot. And what that taught me was to slow down. Like I used to just rush through things and talk really fast. And you can tell from my posture, had my hands in my pockets, and I would just come off really, really nervous. And if you gave me a mic, you could see how white my knuckles got from gripping it. And it wasn't until so that Verizon moment happened when I was about, that must have been like 10 years ago. And then it was just a gradual progression and intentionally like putting myself in situations where I could speak in front of people and just being mindful of wanting to get better every time. I love what Cynthia does. I absolutely believe in like prepping yourself mentally. It makes a big difference. I watched a video yesterday. I forget her name. We had her on recently. She was with Gary V. What's her name? Brunette.
Giselle.
She says one of the things that she does before she shoots a video is like she makes herself laugh. She'll read a cheesy dad joke. Like she makes herself laugh so that her face is so much more relaxed. Because I watch a lot of videos like on social, right? And I think as much as I love Neil, and Neil is incredibly talented, and that's why he's a thought leader in the space of video. But you're right, Elias, everyone now is putting out the same video with the same lighting. And it's almost like, I see a lot of people on Instagram where they're like recording videos and I'm like, man, is this person delivering bad news? Like, is this a news reporter that's telling me a hurricane just hit Florida? Is they're just like terrified? Oh, are you scared of the next recession? I'm like, man, that's like scary. So her thing is like, make yourself giggle, make yourself laugh, put yourself in a good mood. So when that camera starts rolling, you're like smiling a little bit, you're a little relaxed. So just some things that come to mind for me. But yeah, the biggest thing was deciding that I wanted to be better at public speaking. That was a big shift for me. Yeah.
I love it. You guys, and I appreciate, all this dialogue. There's a reason why I don't like to use a handheld mic. If you ever see Kenny and I presenting, Kenny always has this. Why? Because Kenny is not an expressive person with his hands. My culture, where I come from, being Mexican and being Italian, there's something within my culture that we're very expressive with our hands, right? And so I can't feel like I'm getting my message across because sometimes this is needed. And so for me, I need to make sure that I don't have a mic or I have a lapel mic so I can express freely. Like, don't put no chains on me. I need to go. I need to move around. I can't have this in my hands. So, and you guys, this takes tons and tons of practice. You guys, I spent hours and hours. This is my third time doing this presentation, and I still spent time this morning and last night practicing and prepping and knowing different cues and nuances and questions and pauses and patterns, all of that. You guys, everything is so thought out because people are looking at you and they're relying on you. Because here's the thing. People aren't going to see your mistakes along the way. You might make a little bit of mistakes. As long as you have good rhythm, good cadence, and you can captivate the audience, it's never going to be perfect. It's okay. But if you just don't know how to take them, it's just like a buyer's consultation. That's public speaking, right? If I don't have a good cadence and I can't flow with these people, they're not going to be attached to my messaging. So I appreciate your so we'll come to Will in a second, but Aaron, with the transformation right before our eyes, what's going on, Aaron? What's your contribution? Did you put eye makeup on?
I just put my makeup on. Yeah, I got into the office early. So I wanted to just kind of touch on what Ernesto said. One of the things that has helped me personally just be more confident and be able to do the videos that I do is definitely networking. Like, I'm meeting people all the time. You guys see who follow me that I'm at a chamber event. I'm part of 2 chambers. We do all of these things in our community with different organizations. So that requires a lot of meeting people. That requires a lot of like getting to know people. And when that happens on a high level, you're just more confident when you walk into a room, when you go into a new space, right? So I would say, like, for me personally, that helps. And I do this all the time. So there's no way I could hold the mic.
Right? And you guys be able to, I want you to be, I think what I believe in our space and where we're at in real estate and as humans, I believe that we are more self-aware, or at least we are becoming more self-aware. We're more emotionally involved. I think emotional intelligence is something that is more prevalent than it's ever been in our marketplace. And so I want you to be a master of reading energy. And it takes time, right? There's a great book out there. It says, it's called You Say More Than You Think You Say. And that is a book written by Janine Driver, who is a FBI psychological profiler. And her strength was being able to read body language and physiology to determine whether or not you were a killer or you were not, just to give you an overline of that, or overview of that. But be really masterful of like people's energy. And when you're in front of a room and when you're owning a room, feel that. And if your fucking presentation is flat and you're not connecting with somebody, or like, ask a question, get involved, turn it to them, right? There's so many different things that you guys can do, but you have to be aware that that's not for you. These presentations are not for me. These are for you. And so if you ask the right questions, if you read body language, if you read energy, you'll be able to understand this. I'm going to wrap up in just a second because I promise everybody will end a little bit short today. But I want to ask you just a survey question. I was talking, if we were to do a workshop on owning a room, doing a fire presentation, you know, preparation stages, body language, physiology, all the things, how to open up, you know, how to hold your hands, how to hold your posture. Is that a workshop that you guys would attend? Like, is that something that you think that you would attend? Would you find value in that at least? All right, cool. I'm just trying to get a sense of this. So, Will, you had some contributions in the chat. Let's go to you, and then we're going to close out the room today.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and thanks, Elias. Yeah, I mean, it can be tough for me to shift modes. So if you guys know me or know my story, I shot missiles on submarines for a little over 7 years. I went in at 17, and job was super serious during wartime. So almost a decade of my life was committed to like laser surgery, missile work, where it's super military bearing, and it was not fun work. You know, if you know me, my personality or party will, like, I love to dance and sing and super outgoing. Well, it was almost like a complete forcing out of everything that I was for me to work and be a powerhouse in my job for years. So in real estate, I found that balance again, or not really the balance, where I could dial in on something like I could in the military and make it super successful with like laser focus. So I can work with computers and be on my own and crush it. But when I have to turn on personality in a real estate setting and talk to people and engage, it is such a shift for me. It's really hard to do on the spot. So it's almost like, you know, we're working on some development stuff and whatnot right now, and trying to get some new builds to list for fast real estate the next 6 months. I have to, in these situations now, talking with high-end investors, thank you, Elias, developers, business partners, I have to put on a skin where I'm able to do business, but I can put on charm and communicate and slow my mania down so I can communicate with people on their vibration level. If you know me, I vibrate at a high level. It's super going, but I can't just be that without having it tempered in front of people that are key to my success. I can't sit down with a seller on a $10 million listing presentation and be like, hey, you know what? I totally all over this, because I have to really read the way that they communicate. I try to apply some sales skills in, if you've ever read Don't Split the Difference negotiation book, mirroring them, their cadence, even the way that they move their hands, their breaths, how they operate and use a room, if there's someone who really needs to be heard, or if there's someone who likes to listen more, you know. So I really have to try to discipline myself to meet people on their level, whether it's a single person or it's a room of people. Tahoe City Downtown Association had a members meeting the other night, and energies were all over the place. And I just kind of try to operate like in the middle of all those, because if I don't apply thought process to it, I'll turn into dancing Will or super quiet introvert Will, and kind of blow the best opportunities.
You mean you'll go and collect them to death? Is that what you're saying?
I get cray. You guys know me.
Right. You guys, and I appreciate that insight, Will. There's times where I've done presentations where I sit in a chair just like this. And that's hard for me. But depending on the message or depending on the audience, I felt that at times it would call for that, right? Today, I'm going to be moving around like crazy, but I want you just to start thinking about these things, thinking about how you're showing up, how you're owning the room. When you walk into a room, when you walk into an event, how are you standing out? How are you being known? It's really, really important. I think it's an important practice, and something that if we're telling you guys to get in front of the camera more, if we're telling you to get in front of the community more, what we need to be telling you, training you on, teaching you on is how to show up more confidently. What are the things that I need to do? How can we go to these big giant sessions and own these rooms? It's practice, you guys. And promise you this, I still get nervous. I'm nervous today. I'm nervous, but you know what? I am so fucking prepared. I'm so prepared. Like, because I've practiced this. I've said these things out loud, right? Multiple times. So when it's showtime, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. So guys, we're going to end with that. I appreciate everybody. And hopefully I'm seeing quite a few of you in a little bit here. Some of you are on the road. Or Nessa, are you rolling through today?
I probably can't stay for the full thing, but I'll be there.
All right, cool. All right, well, hey, listen, you guys, I appreciate all of you. We're going to be dialing back into our business planning. I think I want to roll out some type of like mayhem Mondays to where maybe once a month, instead of on Mondays and for coaching, we do that in person. We do calls, we have some coffee. We do that at different offices. So it's not about just the coaching, it's out there going and applying too. So I got some things in the work. I'm also launching a fast start program. That is going to be a new agent jumpstart program that happens every single month. So new things to come, exciting new things to come. So have a wonderful, wonderful day. Looking forward to seeing you guys out here in just a little bit. Peace. As always, keep it moving towards your dreams, your goals, your vision. Have a great day, everybody.